Aussie.
Alrighty, we're live. Oh, and the fucking webcam decided to go super out of focus. Oh no, it's refocused, I think. Okay, that was weird. Right as it went live, the webcam's going, woo. Big Leech, hello. Welcome to Sunday night, everyone, whoever sees this. The offspring have literally just finished cooking in the kitchen. They were making this, I think they said it was Taiwanese style, popcorn chicken. All these spices on it. Oh my God, it's good. It is so fucking good. And good evening, Raiders. So I have a few pieces of popcorn chicken and a freezer daiquiri. Ooh, yeah. Oh man, no, actually, that's good. I adjusted my freezer daiquiri. And I think I improved it quite a bit. Man, that is good, actually. That is really good. Like, it's still, it's alcohol content's probably quite high in that. Oh, no, it's good. I added a bit more, like I drunk it down a bit. When I had it the other night, I thought it was a bit strong. And I added a bit more rum. I added a bit more sugar syrup that was actually based on grapefruit. So there's this teeny bit of sort of grapefruit bitterness in there now. And I added some water because I thought it was too strong. And it's really good. So I got chicken and daiquiri. And hello, Luke. So all is well in the world as far as I'm concerned. Oh, wow. Every now and then, my offspring put this massive effort into cooking, like with preparing and seasoning and marinating. This is like twice fried chicken. God, it's good. All right. And again, young Miss Angry will make these wontons from scratch. And when she makes bolognese, like I'm really lazy. If I was making bolognese, I'd just cook up the meat, probably with some onion and mushroom, and literally I chuck one of those jars of sauce in, whereas she has all these other vegetables in it that she purees, so they just blend in, and with the fresh tomato rather than one of these jars. Oh man, it's good. But yeah, every now and then, not every night, but every now and then, they'll go to this enormous amount of trouble to cook a meal. And tonight, I scored some super yummy fried chicken. Homemade popcorn chicken. Made with thigh fillet pieces. So it's super good. Probably, not particularly healthy, being double fried and all. Hey, Celtic King. Oh. Yep. That is a good daiquiri now. So I think if that's going to be an infinity daiquiri, I think I could probably improve it a little bit more. I'll add some more rum, a bit of lime juice, and a bit more sugar syrup and a bit more water, I think. Hey, Tassie and Alexander and Slarky. Wine tasting. Well, daiquiri tasting. This is my version of wine tasting because I don't really like wine. Which is to say I don't like wine at all, although I like vermouth in a cocktail. And vermouth's a fortified wine. But I'm pretty fond of my freezer daiquiri quite now. All right. Chicken's good too. Yeah. It's all good in the hood. Tassie, you like muscat? That's fine. Everyone has their own tastes. I am I'm just not a wine person, basically. And hello, Safa. Celtic King, I did not drink alcohol at all when I were younger. Why did things change in my 40s? I don't know. YouTube, actually. I'm going to blame YouTube. And all seriousness, I'm going to blame YouTube. No. Safa, there probably are chicken-flavored cocktails, quite honestly. But I'm having chicken and cocktails. Because I'm a classy motherfucker. Nice. Tassie saying I'm the same age as Mega Leech. And I'm not sure what all those question marks mean in the 40s. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying there, actually. Then again, I am very easily confused, so. Hey, Greg. How you doing, man? Nice stuff. You had a chicken roast for dinner. I had Mexican last night for date night. There's a place called, it's just called Mexico City. I think they've actually got a couple outlets. One that we go to, it's actually run by Mexican people, which is a little bit unusual for Melbourne. A Mexican restaurant actually run by Mexican people. It's really good. I mean, I think they can make really spicy food, but they can also make it not spicy, which I'm super white. Oh, same age as Megaleech and I. Question. I'm 50s now, so I was talking about life in my 40s, but I'm 50s now. Yeah. And no, I don't like spicy food. I'm a typical white person. And ordered extra, which we had for lunch today. And you'd think, because this was, it was reheated 2 days in a row, you'd think I wouldn't have liked it as much the second time, but I did. It's fucking great food. Was that right? Oh, Richmond IKEA is an exposure site. Everywhere's a fucking exposure site, basically. Hello, Abigail. You have the sword Excalibur with you? That's a surprise. Forged when the world was young, birds and beasts were one with man, and death was but a dream. Nice. Everywhere's a fucking exposure site at the moment. You should very realistically assume anywhere you go where there are other people is an exposure site. You should assume, if you were in New South Wales, well, actually, it's not even an assumption. In New South Wales, certainly in Greater Sydney, but now increasingly across country areas of New South Wales, definitely in Greater Sydney, literally everywhere is an exposure site. It's literally everywhere. Melbourne, you should assume it. It might not be the case, but you should assume it. In Sydney, it will be the case. If you are ever anywhere where there are other people, someone there will be COVID positive. It's just how it is in Sydney at the moment. Safi, you reckon New South Wales 1,000 cases tomorrow? Certainly within a couple of days, probably 2,000 by the end of the week or the end of the month. And yes, Luke, the stupid protests will just mean more exposure sites. I just saw that Celtic King is my motto, too white for spice. It probably should be, in all seriousness. So, Abigail, you on a video chat with a lady friend last night, having a bad time in lockdown? Yeah, it does suck. Oh, and she likes football, so you watched it with her. You were confused, but glad her team won. Oh, look, I completely understand. I think lockdown's shitty. Even though it's not affected me that much, there's stuff I'd like to do that I can't do. Go visit people, have people over. So for Sydney didn't get this bad with the alpha strain, out of pure blind luck. There were a couple spreader incidents that really looked like they were going to get completely out of control, and they didn't, and it was pure blind luck. And in their hubris, they were like, it's because we're special. We have gold standard contact tracing. And it was always bullshit. It was always luck. And then their luck ran out. And a combination of their hubris and their allegiance to a really shitty political ideology meant they consistently refused to take the steps that literally every other state leader takes. And even now, 2 months later, when they're rocketing towards 1,000 cases a day, they're barely taking the steps that like Melbourne took with a couple of dozen cases. It's fucking ridiculous. I like that, Celtic. Toby's having video chats with Mormon missionaries. Narrow missionaries are stuck in Wollongong. Yeah, not a lot of traffic allowed at the moment. So, Sophie, yeah, Abigail's been watching the AFL, Melbourne Demons. Chicken was a little bit spicy. They made their own little sugar and spice coating for it. Very good. Very, very good. Oof. Okay, so, and also, I did actually let young Mr. Angry have some freezer daiquiri, so it's down a bit, so I can top it up. And I think a little bit of everything. I'll put a little bit of rum in there again, a little bit of lime juice, a little bit of water, and a little bit of sugar syrup. And then have it again another night. And then I maybe have something else. Well, that's what I was going to. Okay. Even, like, I'm so afraid. Okay, all this week's videos for the Angry Cocktails channels are already uploaded to YouTube and scheduled to go live on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that's like donezo. So now I'm already in the frame of mind of, oh, what do I do for the next week? I will probably put up, I made a video of making this, and that's not gone up yet. So that'll probably go up next week. How to make a freezer daiquiri. No, it's like Harry Craddock's birthday. He's dead, but anniversary of his birth on Sunday or Monday next week. And he's possibly the most important bartender of the 20th century. Wrote the Savoy cocktail book, created a whole bunch of cocktails. But if he hadn't written the Savoy cocktail book, we might have lost a lot of those cocktails, and a lot of them are still standards made today. So I'm definitely going to make a Harry Craddock cocktail or two. And in fact, I might taste test one because there are a huge amount credited to him. Harry Craddock. So he was born in 1875, moved to America in 1897, was working in bars from 1901 to 1911, became a US citizen in 1916. When he got drafted in 1918, right at the end of the First World War. Then he lost his bar job because of prohibition, so he went back to England, and that's where he worked at the Savoy. And they had a bar called the American Bar, and he had acquired an American accent from his time in America. So he would attract a lot of Americans. So apparently he had an index card library of cocktails with 2,000 recipes. And in 1930, the management asked him to compile a Savoy cocktail book, which he never earned any money from. And there's probably been millions of copies of it sold over the years. And he died in 1963. So he lived a pretty interesting life, quite honestly. Culture King. Well, I mean, cocktails and Lost. I mean, technically you can throw any shit together and call it a cocktail, but there are a couple of books published in the 19th century that we still have. The Savoy cocktail book is probably the most influential cocktail book of the 20th century. But there are some other big ones. Richard, hello on Facebook. And post 20th century, 21st century, in fact, the one we are in, there's been a bit of a cocktail renaissance in the last 15 years, and a whole bunch of very high quality cocktail books have been produced in the last 10 or so years, like really good quality books. But, okay, Harry Craddock recipes. Because his two most famous ones are The White Lady and The Corpse Reviver #2. So some of them have great fun names. Satan's Whiskers, Gin, Dry Vermouth, Sweet Vermouth, Orange Liqueur, Orange Juice. So that's basically a riff on a martini. It's like a martini with orange in it. I think I've made a Claridge cocktail as well. The Corpse Reviver #2. There was a #1, by the way, which no one likes. Corpse Reviver #2 is gin, orange liqueur, Lillet Blanc or other aromatized wine, lemon juice, sugar syrup, and dash of absinthe. Hey, nobody, how you doing? Oh, I did see the question, how's AIDSy going? He had a shitty reaction to his second, what do you call it? Pfizer vaccine, which he got on Friday, I think. So that's why he was on the stream on Thursday, but not on Friday, because he was feeling shit on Friday because of the second Pfizer, which I hear can knock you around. I had a slight reaction to my first AstraZeneca and none at all to the second, which is apparently the most common. The most common is to not get any particular reaction to the first Pfizer, but possibly sort of flu-like symptoms from the second Pfizer as your body kicks into gear and makes antibodies. And I felt a bit overnight from my first AstraZeneca, but nothing at all from my second. So just the way it goes. It's the action of basically, the vaccine prompts your body to make antibodies, but your body can go over the top and raise your fever and all this sort of stuff and make you feel shit. So I looked at these Harry Craddock recipes earlier, and I found a couple that I was interested. See, there's a slight variation on the Satan's Whiskers called the Curled, or I like to think of it as Satan's Curly Whiskers. And in fact, the only difference is changing a cognac-based orange liqueur to an orange curacao. Kind of tempted to do Satan's Curly Whiskers. What's this one? A Vanderbilt. What's in a Vanderbilt? Cognac, cherry brandy, and sugar syrup and bitters. That's interesting. I don't think I'll make it, but Where were the ones I saw that sort of caught my attention earlier? An elk. He's got a lot of. Oh yeah, there's a Honolulu #1, which at least has some fruit in it, but it's just gin based. But then there's a Honolulu #2 that I thought actually sounded much better. And on this one, the Young Man Cocktail. So these are kind of martini variations. So Harry Craddock seemed to be into making martini variations. Except the Young Man is cognac rather than gin. So it's cognac, sweet vermouth, and orange curacao with bitters. And I like the sound of that. Or the Honolulu is gin, Benedictine, maraschino. Equal parts. Oh, I'm supposed to be getting the bone dry gin probably on Tuesday. I might save that for that and make this Young Man one, the cognac and vermouth one, because it just sounds interesting. Loranda, watch The Irregulars, episode 2 on Netflix. Confirm the Tooth Fairy theory. Yes. The Irregulars was okay. It's like a fantasy, young adult fantasy inspired by the Sherlock Holmes characters, the Baker Street Irregulars. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson are in it, but it's not really about them. It's about these young folk who are the Baker Street Irregulars. It's okay. Oh, yes, Abigail. That's another fun one. Lower Decks is legally available to watch in Australia, and I watched episode 1 and 2 this weekend, and it's very good. Episode 2 had the alien who talks in memes. It was good. Safa, well, I don't know how many episodes are going to be in What If. It's like 6 or 8 episodes. But also apparently there's going to be some Star Wars expanded universe animations done by a range of Japanese animation studios. Looking forward to that. Nobody, your good news, no more collapsing, which is good. Ordinary news is your mood's generally unstable or at best flat. Yeah, that's kind of sucky. We'll hopefully work through it, man. Abigail's after advice. So many projects on the go, get sidetracked so easily, and then overwhelmed, and you help organizing time more effectively. That is an interesting one to ask for advice, how to organize time. I'm not a particularly organized person. And as cliche as to-do lists are, and of course, if you're easily sidetracked, you can sidetrack yourself with a to-do list. But if there was a bunch of stuff and getting sidetracked, I'd kind of draw up a table of, here's all the things that I have to, here's all the projects, here's all the things I have to do. And then I'd kind of put a ranking system of, this is how difficult they are, either how difficult they are or how long they're going to take, and a ranking for how much you're going to enjoy doing them or what the payoff is for doing them. And so it's like, I'd have that spectrum of things. Task, difficulty, reward. The reward might just be how good you feel doing it or accomplishing it. The reward might literally be there's some return for doing it. So then I think you can look at the list, and speaking of like executive function, how many spoons you have on a good given day. If you have a list like that, if you're feeling good, you can go, you know what I can do? I can spend time on the task that requires high executive function because it's got a payoff. And today, I feel like I can operate at that level. But on the days when fewer spoons are at your disposal, you can look at your list and go, okay, that I want to do something, and working on that one requires far less effort. So you can adjust on that thing. And I mean, if it was my paid job, there would probably also be a ranking for criticality. And I don't know if that's at all applicable to you, Abigail. I'm glad that sounds useful. I don't know if criticality works because, again, someone who has problems with executive function, the worst thing that can ever happen to you is something that's high criticality and high executive function demand and like low dopamine reward. Because that fucking sucks. It's like, oh, shit, I literally have to do that. And it's a difficult thing for me to do. And I won't feel particularly fulfilled or rewarded when I do it. But I have to. That sucks. But at least if you have that ranking system in place, you can make daily decisions. It's like, okay, today, shit, I have no spoons. I'm shit. But I did highlight, look, I can work on that one. It doesn't, I can do something. I can finish the day with some minor sense of accomplishment. I can do part of that one that doesn't require much effort on my part. Joe Stratus, hello. Tequila's great for organizing stuff. Tequila is great for making impulsive decisions, I think. But I'm not even going to dirty another glass. I'm just going to use this glass again. I'm going to make a drink. Get my chicken plate out of the way. I might make Satan's curly whiskers another time. Vanderbilt kind of sounds too simple. The Young Man. I'm going to do the Young Man cocktail. What was the Leave It to Me martini? Gin, apricot brandy, sweet vermouth, lemon juice, and grenadine. Another time. All right, I'm going to make the Young Man cocktail. And I might save the gin ones till I get my new gin, which is meant to be Monday or Tuesday. Nobody, you have one hint, might help with a big task. Oh, yes, absolutely. Break it into little tasks. Yes. And having those small victories is excellent advice. That is absolutely excellent advice. That's another bit of work, though, when you're looking at the big tasks. Particularly, okay, where I'd really definitely do that is if a big task seems insurmountable, because every big task is made up of smaller tasks. If you look at something and go, that's too much, I simply cannot do it, that's when I'd spend a little bit of time breaking that down into smaller tasks and just going, okay, well, if I'm going to do that, the first thing I'd have to do is this, because nothing else happens unless I do this. Then I would need to do this. And that breakdown can give you the little victories. That is excellent advice, nobody. Right, so if I'm going to make a Young Man cocktail, I want cognac, sweet vermouth, orange curacao. All right. Orange curacao. I actually do cognac. Ooh, I'm almost out of cognac. Okay, this weird bottle. I kind of like this weird bottle, and I feel bad about throwing it out, but I'm probably going to throw it out because it's also really awkward. Does anyone want a weird bottle? Sweet vermouth is in the fridge. Keep your vermouth in your fridge, kids. If anyone's watching this, it'll oxidize at room temperature and go icky, get vinegary. What do I want bitters? Bitters. I want my mixing glass too, I guess. Get my mixing glass. Get my mixing finger. All right, it's in here. And the jig is right there. Okay. Ooh, I want to put some ice in my mixing glass to chill my drink. Oh, that'll do. Well, that'll do, pig. That'll do. All right. 45 mils of Costco cognac, which is actually a very good quality cognac, because Costco have a lot of money and they go to various distilleries around the world and buy their stuff in bulk. And the people say, yep, we'll sell it to you because we want the money, but you're not allowed to tell people it came from here because it would cheapen our brand if people knew our stuff was being sold at Costco. And Costco goes, fine by us. We'll label it with our brand, Kirkland, and that's fine. Like, the rumor is their French vodka comes from the Grey Goose distillery, which is not the most expensive French vodka, but tain't cheap. Tain't cheap. All right. And bitters. Couple of dashes of bitters. Everything's better when you sing it. Nobody gave many victories at the moment. Each time you stand up without falling over is victory. Each time you eat an evening meal, victory. That is a real and important thing. Like, if you're feeling shit and if things are overwhelming, the victories that you should note and celebrate are things like, I got out of bed when I didn't feel like it. I got dressed when I didn't feel like it. I had a shower when I didn't feel like it. I ate a proper meal when I didn't feel like it. These are real and important victories if you're having a particularly bad day. All right. Yeah, it tastes pretty good. Oop, I need my strainer. Gotta get my strainer. Oof. Where's my strainer? There it is. Good old Hawthorne strainer. Ugh. April Diamond, good evening to you. Nobody, each day you get through without punching a window, victory. Yep. Need to recognize these things. Man, this vermouth I have, which is super red and fruity, because of the wine it's based on, makes for dramatically red drinks. This is like suit Dracula, this one. A cup of blood. I'm going to try and... Okay, that is weirdly flat. As in, there's no inspiring flavors coming through. I'm really surprised. Like, I stir it when, I sucked on Gaz Regan's finger. I actually thought, that's okay. It tastes a bit flat. Maybe it's just there. But that is surprisingly flat. It's disappointing. Like, it's one of those things, when something's not actively bad, but it's not actively good. It's just like, oh, it just exists. Joe, you made a matador, PCL, Brock Lesnar, and holy shit, now you're awake. Okay, those are all words. That is fine. Oh, nobody. Yeah, you're not getting days without chest pain and anxiety. It's like in life. But you're getting through the days, so that's the victory. That is absolutely the victory. And this is where I throw out the same advice I always throw out, and it's not necessarily something you can act on, but having experienced it firsthand, if you can get a suitably qualified practitioner of technique called EMDR is mind-blowingly effective. Like, it's actually recommended by the World Health Organization for treating post-traumatic stress disorder. I don't have PTSD. I went through much milder things, essentially because Mrs. Angry is a practitioner. She's a psychologist, counselor, and she tested some of it on me, and it's amazing stuff. It gets a bit of a bad rep because it sounds kind of woo-woo, because it sounds freaking weird on paper. It sounds freaking weird, and you do get some bullshit hippie healing crystal people who latch onto it as well. That's why I said get a suitably qualified practitioner. Oh, you've actually had EMDR, nobody? And again, nothing works universally. Nothing works for everyone. It may be down to the practitioner you saw. It may be it just doesn't work for you. There's another slightly more fringe one that's known as EFT, or simply tapping, which is pretty amazing. April, arrived just in time for good advice. Try not to punch the screen after seeing people comment online at the news. Never read the comments. The COVID fuckwit protesters are just fucking getting to me. And I get these bleeding heart lefties going, oh, you shouldn't be glad the cops fired pepper spray at them and shit. No, I am. I really fucking am. Like, get me some good video of cops fucking up these pieces of shit that I can watch in slow motion in a loop and hook that shit up to my veins, because I fucking hate these people. They are the fucking worst. They're absolutely detached from reality, and they're dangerous. There is in fact, they're being manipulated by actual Nazis. Extreme right-wing groups are behind the organization of these protests globally. And you always get these things where people say, oh, you say everyone you don't like is a Nazi. These are literal sworn adherents of far-right fascist and Nazi ideology. White supremacists. Very, 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 very bad people. Abigail, can we punch them like we can punch Nazis? If you punch one of them, there's a 50-50 chance you're punching a Nazi. I mean, we are at the point of, you listen to or read their rhetoric, we are getting close to the point that they start murdering medical staff because they've actually made it quite explicit that they think that is justified. Like, they are very dangerous people. Very dangerous people. So I don't know where it will happen first. I mean, the cliche is to expect it to happen in America first, which, again, I guess just because of the amount of guns that are around, that is where you'd expect it most. But medical staff all through, like, UK, Europe, and Australia have been threatened. Medical staff are being warned, don't wear your scrubs home. Make sure no one's following you when you leave the hospital to go home, because we're getting very credible threats that these people are basically G'ing themselves up to murder medical staff. Because once you disappear down an absolutely absurd rabbit hole, absolutely detached from reality, when your reality has got to the point that everything's being run by child molesting demon worshippers, and everything medical staff is doing is in service of these dark overlords who want to control a life, any action is justifiable. That's where people's minds go. Any action is justifiable. And whenever you see someone write it or hear someone, and I heard someone shout it at one of the New South Wales press conferences, shout Nuremberg 2.0, That's their big talking point at the moment. They say like, oh, the Nazi doctors went on trial at Nuremberg and they were hanged. Spoiler alert, no, they weren't. But they've gone like, well, it was justifiable to hang the Nazis. Maybe we need to hang these people. And they are actively and openly talking each other into murdering people that they see as their opponents. And that's medical staff and politicians. And yes, while it's a little bit harder to have sympathy for politicians, they're probably not going to go after politicians first. But they are actively trying to talk each other into murdering medical staff. They are very dangerous people. And yes, Raiders, it's the Q narrative. And the QAnon narrative is no word of a lie, just the protocols of the elders of Zion, slightly dressed up for the modern world. And if you are unfamiliar with that, it's like the proto-conspiracy theory. It dates back hundreds of years. It's an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. Purports to be this document that's a record of meetings held with the secret Jewish elders who run the world and how they want to control everyone. And not only is it patently untrue, it's actually plagiarized from a play that was about, I forget what it was called, but it was a conversation between Machiavelli and the devil in hell, talking about how to control people. So it was originally a play. Some anti-Semites changed it around a bit, and it evolved a bit over a period of 50 to 100 years. And then someone finally came up with this form, which they called the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, and said it was the minutes from a secret meeting of world Jewry. It's like I said, it's not just patently untrue. It's plagiarized from a play. It's ridiculous. And yes, Safa, it's messed up. And often, this is a fight I've had multiple times with left-wing people when they post stuff online that purports to be social media posts or quotes from people they don't like. Shit that is obviously untrue. And when I point to people, that is obviously untrue. And they go, oh, how do you know? It's like, because I've got a fucking brain, okay? You just look at that and apply a little bit of critical thinking. Like, okay, one that keeps coming up is Ben Shapiro. If you're unfamiliar with him, he's an absolute fuckwit. He's an absolute piece of shit. He's some dickhead who got paid by this right-wing lobby group to write extreme right opinion pieces. He's about 30 now, I think, but he was paid to do this shit when he was a teenager, and he was really hyped because the Koch brothers who are paying him have a lot of money to buy media coverage, and he was really hyped, like the really ridiculous shit, like he was the cool kid's political commentator and whatnot. He's thick as shit. He says the stupidest stuff all the time. Probably the funniest takedown of him is very famously done by the YouTube guy, Each Bomber Guy. Ben Shapiro is really weird. His idea of he's famous for promoting the phrase "facts don't care about your feelings," and yet literally everything he said is based on his emotional reactions to things and is almost always unsupported by fact. Which, again, it's one of those weird ironies that the person who declares facts don't talk about your feelings only ever says stuff that have come out of his emotions and they're not real. But he's easy to make fun of because he has this horrible little nasal voice. He's one of these dickheads who thinks talking fast makes him smart. And And he just, well, just say, just suppose this is true. This is true. And my favorite takedown of him is his very insightful take on climate change, and one of the dozens of catastrophic impacts on climate change is almost definitely going to be catastrophic sea level rises, because so many centers of population are on coastal areas and they're going to be inundated. And so he did this thing. He's making one of his speeches. He's proving how clever he is. He goes, "All right, suppose that we do get the sea level rise, 6 inches, 12 inches, 2 feet. Suppose that happens. But you're saying, like, what happened to the people who live there? Well, they can just sell their houses and move somewhere else." And that was his genius insight. Coastal population centers being inundated isn't a problem because people can just sell their houses. And when this guy, Harry, H. Bomber guy, was doing the video on him, he posted that little bit of video. And then this is a bit where he's got like a plywood wall on his studio, and he's on the other side of it, and he hacks through it with an axe. And it's quite funny because it built up. You see the wall, and there's this thump, 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 and then an axe breaks through, and he keeps going till there's a hole in the plywood wall big enough for him to stick his face through, like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. And instead of saying, "Here's Johnny," after Ben Shapiro says people can just sell their houses, Harry sticks his face through the hole, goes, "Sell their houses? Sell their houses? To who, Ben? Fucking Aquaman." And it's just the guy is so stupid. My second favorite takedown of him is the person didn't even really intend to take him down that hard. There's this guy, and I've even forgot his name. He's an old Tory. He's an old right-wing establishment curmudgeon, and I think he has a thing on the BBC. And so he set up this interview with Ben Shapiro because Ben Shapiro had this book and he wanted to be on there. And it's one of the fake things Ben Shapiro does, one of the lies Ben Shapiro does is he's reasonable and unemotional, and the left are mean and nasty, and he's reasonable, which is a blatant lie. He's a nasty, spiteful, evil little fuck. And this guy said, "Mr. Shapiro, in your book, you talk about that we've lost civility and whatnot, but I'm just looking at you and your history, and it's just riddled with incivility." And he's just saying, like, "Thank you, Raiders. Andrew Neil, Tory journalist. That's his name. Thank you. That's who I was thinking of." And he's just like, you talk about, and you're blaming your opponents for not being civil, but I just look at you and what you've written and what you've said, and it's just littered with incivility. And Ben Shapiro just loses his shit because he's not being pandered to, and he's used to being pandered to by media outlets in the US. And he accuses this guy of being a leftist. And this dude is an old Tory curmudgeon. And he just does this gentle laugh like, "Hey, Mr. Shapiro, if only you knew how wrong you are." And Shapiro just has this huge hissy fit and then refuses to continue with the interview. He does at least acknowledge, Shapiro acknowledges in retrospect, he made an absolute fool of himself in that interview. But it's like he just isn't smart. This, again, very rich right-wing people have been paying him for like a decade to spout, just so they had a young person spouting this ridiculous far-right ideology. So it wasn't all, people my age and older doing it. And he's believed the hype that he's smart. He is not smart. He is definitely not smart. He just isn't. And there was the fun one where he thought, again, he's also not funny. He thinks he's smart. He isn't. He thinks he's funny. He isn't. This was a couple months ago. He thought he was doing a funny takedown of what's that song? WAP, Wet Ass Pussy. And he was saying this stuff because, of course, there's all these lines of hyperbole in that track about, so wet you need a mop to clean it up and whatnot. And Shapiro thought he was funny by saying these lines about, well, if you're that wet, you've got a medical condition. There's something wrong with you. And everyone read it is, you actually don't know how lubricated and aroused woman's vagina gets, do you, Ben? We can only assume that's because you've never actually sexually aroused a woman. Oh my God, your poor wife. So he thought he was being funny, and everyone was just, fucking hell. Dude, you are just telling on yourself so badly here. All right, do you want to add Dave Rubin? Dave Rubin's not so much conflicted. He is a hypocrite, but he's a liar and a grifter and an opportunist. And he saw, like, Dave Rubin started off as he was with one of the progressive sites, the Young Turks, I think. But he's a fucking piece of shit. And he actually saw opportunities to make money by promoting right-wing grifters. And he's just a shameless opportunist. He's a piece of shit. And again, but another one who thinks he's smart and absolutely is not. Yeah, but there's a lot of delusion in those debate bros on the internet. Jesus, they're such a fucking pain. But yeah, oh God, the reason I brought up Ben Shapiro, and this actually, okay, this goes directly off the wet ass pussy one. I always see people posting incredibly obvious fake tweets that they say Ben Shapiro really definitely did. And I say to them, like, that's not real. And they go, oh, do you know? And I normally restrain myself from saying, because I'm not a fucking moron, it is patently obvious that's not real. You just look at that and look at the language. And Ben Shapiro is stupid, but he's not that stupid. And then the defense they always throw up is, oh, well, it's the kind of thing he'd say. Or they'd say, oh, it's just a joke. And I go, you did not post it as a joke. You posted it and said factually, Shapiro said this. If you do that, if you post false things and say they're true, you're no better than Shapiro. You're no better than Trump. You're no better than Fox News. If you post things that are obviously not true because they fit your narrative, you're no better than these right-wing fuckheads. And they get super angry. They always get super angry when I just say, you're lying. Why the fuck are you lying? What these people say for real is enough to bury them. Why do you lie? Because then you give them credibility because they can prove you're lying about them. And so then they say you're always lying about them, even when you're telling the truth. It's just like, fucking hell. Raiders Rita Panihi attached herself to Rubin early in Trump's presidency. Rita Panihi is another one, is a fucking moron who thinks they're smart because they've been paid to promote just absolute fucking hideous right-wing views. Pundits, man, pundits suck so fucking much. Pundits are just the worst. Ugh, I hate them. And they're not all right-wing. Most of them are. But I really do not like them. The people who get paid to just write opinions. You should give out your opinions for free, like I do. Shamelessly biased. And again, the other thing I fucking hate with a passion are all these pundits that claim they're being objective and impartial and factual. It's like, fuck, no, you're not. The one thing I've never claimed to be is objective. On the big issues of the day, objectivity is almost always bullshit. It's just like, no. actual real journalists reporting on events often do a pretty good job of reporting stuff pretty objectively, but there's always a bias in there. But these fucking pundits who just vomit forth these toxic opinions that are just so often easily disprovable. It's really easy to show it's absolutely false. And they're acting like there's some high moral ground to what they're doing. Jesus. Raiders, why did Panihi, who was a sports commentator at SEN, all of a sudden finish at Herald Sun Sky News? They wanted a woman who would shamelessly spout the most hideous right-wing views. Because all they had, and she's youngish, all they had was crusty, old, obviously racist white men doing these fucked up opinion pieces. So they deliberately diversified and went, we need some women. They end up with Rita Panihi and Peter Credlin. We need some younger people. In the US, they got Ben Shapiro in Australia. What was that weird little gremlin? And I haven't seen him in Australian media for a while. But Murdoch Media started giving him an outlet when he was like 17, 18. And I always felt like it was entrapment putting him out there because his face was so fucking punchable. And I think it would be the wrong thing to do. I think it would be wrong to physically attack him just because he does these obnoxious fucking shitty things in Murdoch Media. But I also think it was entrapment because he just had the most punchable fucking face. April, human race would be smarter and less evil if you got rid of it. Yes, I am absolutely. One of my Thanos snaps, if I had the power to just eradicate stuff, I would remove every Murdoch Media outlet without hesitation. Just gone. Because they're fucking dangerous. Ugh. Okay. Man, that was a surprisingly flat cocktail. It was a bunch of ingredients that I like, and it was by, a very famous bartender. It was just a really flat, uninspiring cocktail. Oh, yeah. Abigail, you want to light up the egg signal for Egg Boy? I believe Egg Boy revealed himself to be a milkshake duck. I think he's a COVID denier. All right, just put out Miss Regular on Andrew Bolt show. We're still talking about Rita Panihi. Panahi? I don't know how to pronounce her name. Panahi? Just realized Panihi is definitely wrong. Be Panahi? I don't know. Yeah, Tassie. The first round. See, the big thing with Thanos' snap is I don't agree with the random thing. That is both a cop out and a weird god complex thing. I would be definitely doing it to people who deserved it. And yeah, the first round would definitely be the pedos, murderers, abusers, terrorists, warmongers. Get a whole bunch of them in one go, and then just go to everyone else. Okay, that was a warning. It was a pretty extreme warning, I grant you. But the rest of you who fall into that bracket, that was your warning. Okay, you pull your shit, and you're next. Hi, Annette. Left-wing talks suck. Hello. Oh, yes, Abigail. I also really enjoyed episode 2 of What If. Try not to give too many spoilers, but Thanos is in it. But if this is not a spoiler, because if you even see the trailers, you know this. Episode 2 is What If T'Challa was Star-Lord? So what if the Ravagers, instead of picking up Peter, picked up T'Challa? I loved it. I thought I enjoyed the first one was the Agent Carter. What if Peggy Carter got the super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers? I I really liked the first episode, but I fucking loved episode 2. What if T'Challa was Star-Lord? Because the jokes just kept coming. It was great. I thought episode 2 was great. Left-wing dorks. Yes, I have been traveling well. Thank you very much. How's your world been? Man, I think I need to filter this. The fucking lime juice I used on this was a bit dodgy. And I put it through a sieve, and there's still this weird cloudy shit in it. Wonder if I put it through a filter. I'm going to try. It might not go through a filter, and I might just have to live with that weird stuff suspended in it. Give me a second. I just need to get a couple of things. I need to get a tall glass. Oh, that holds a bit. I need to get a funnel. And I need to get some filter paper. And we'll do a little experiment for the rest of the stream. See if this, and if this doesn't go through, then I will just live with cloudy stuff suspended in my drink. Yes, COVID does in fact suck. COVID. Oh, Safa, yes, Chadwick. I have to admit, I had a bit of a sad when I saw the trailer for What If and T'Challa was in it. I remember thinking, well, whoever they got to voice T'Challa does a really good Chadwick Boseman. And then it came on and it was Chadwick Boseman. Like he must have done the voice recording early last year before he died. And I had a little, just remembering Chadwick gone far too soon. No, that was a bit friggin' sad. On one level, it's a nice legacy because it's really good. But yeah, just because I had assumed it was someone else, I assumed it wasn't Chadwick Boseman voicing T'Challa in this animation. But then it came up, it was Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, Left-wing. This is my COVID hair. I stopped dyeing it, so my beautiful natural grey has come out. And I have had it trimmed in the last 18 months. I've had 2 trims, but I'm basically growing it long and not colouring it. Ooh, Nettie, I have not noticed that anything is hard to get. Problems with supply lines. What are you seeing that's hard to get? And sometimes it's very temporary. Now, shipping stuff interstate is difficult at the moment because trucks going through New South Wales, they're just like fucking plague carriers. Okay, given my last drink was actually disappointingly bland, I'm going to have a little freezer martini. Because I tell you what, my freezer martini is not bland. Very sharp, a very dry martini. Tassie, you're finding stuff harder to get in Tasmania? Nettie, you're finding half your Woolies order not available? Oh shit, Safa microprocessor and video cards have been really fucking hard to get because of fucking cryptocurrency miners. You're saying I should use Rogaine to thicken my hair. Does that actually work? I'm kind of fine with my hair. I'm just acting my age at the moment. So April, you're finding on the Central Coast you're having problems? Yeah. Any supply chain problems are probably temporary, but they happen. And Abigail, you're saying there's some pharmaceuticals unavailable to next year, which will include stuff that trans folk want. Yeah. I mean, it's surprising how resilient supply lines have actually been for the last 18 months. Time to improvise, Nettie. Having trouble getting stuff. Damn. That's no good. All right. I've got to not be impatient. I'm filtering my freezer daiquiri there because there was some cloudy stuff in it. And we've got an hour to filter it out. I just get super impatient sometimes. See, that's what I like. This is why I like this is why I like cocktails. I like cocktails that have real character and real flavors, and ideally kind of a spectrum of flavors that go over your palate as you drink it. And that's why that last one I made was really disappointing, because it was really flat and one-dimensional and uninspiring. Whereas this one, my freezer martini, oh, goddamn. I think there's like 4 or 5 different gins in that, and 2 or 3 dry vermouths. Oh, and there's just a bunch of stuff going on in there. I really like that. And again, when we were talking earlier about when I started drinking. When I first started drinking, I would drink very sweet things, things that sort of concealed the alcohol content. Like I still drink. Oh, I don't drink cider very much anymore, but I'm not averse to cider. I like a good cider, and it was a running joke in YouTube meetups like 13, 14 years ago. When I went out with people, we'd go to a bar, and it was like, as a joke, I'd order the girliest drink they had at the bar, like something pink and frothy that they were serving at the bar. Stuff that didn't taste like alcohol, basically. And then about 4 years ago, I got into flavoring alcohols and coming up with stuff. And then in 2-3 years ago, I started getting into proper cocktails. And that's really developed over the last 2 years. Left-wing Dorksuck, yes, I have been working from home for the last 18 months, but I've been employed the whole time, which has been good. Like, again, I am so lucky over the whole COVID thing. My home situation is good, and I've been getting paid, and pretty well paid, the whole time. I know just enormous amounts of people are doing it very hard income-wise. And again, being at home, I think the people who have it the roughest, people who are completely alone at home, people who have kids younger than 5, because I have a few friends with kids under 5, and they're just saying, like, it's driving them crazy. And obviously, people with unsafe or dangerous home environments. It's a very bad time. So I am very, very, very conscious that I'm really lucky. It's not like I'm the 1%, but the whole fucking COVID bullshit has been pretty easy on me, quite honestly. Oh no, Abigail, you drank cider, gives you annoying headaches. It's not just the alcohol. Obviously, the alcohol in cider can give you headaches, but because it's fermented, there are some byproducts people have bad reactions to, and I just mean headaches and stuff. That's a real thing. And Abigail, you 3D printed some Star Trek themed mask strap. I'm going to buy some off you. I just remembered. Because you can do something with it. All right. So yeah, cider giving you headaches is real, and it can be for 2 reasons. One is obviously just the alcohol, but there are because it's fermented apple juice. I forget the name of the stuff in it, but there's definitely stuff in it that some people have a higher sensitivity to that can be more likely to give you headaches. And April Diamond, yes, my kid's fully grown, and they're pretty good. They just stay in their room playing online games with their friends, quite honestly. Right. Just trying to work out. Sorry, I just had a message from a friend. creaky door to the kitchen. This is being in the kitchen. People come in here. I was looking for a message. All right. Sorry, I'm just doing something while we're talking because I just remembered something. That's it, Abigail. It's the sulfur, the sulfites. Yes, that is it. You hit the nail on the head. There's always people smarter than me in the stream, which I like. The sulfites in cider can have an effect on people. Yes. Ooh, you're in a Left Wing Dorks. You're in a new unit. Nice. I've been in this place for 4.5 years now. I definitely want to see what the mask straps are, Abigail. I'm very keen to see what they look like. But while we're talking, I'm just going to do another thing because I had forgotten. Just involves me logging into my bank account. So if I have to say like my client number and password out loud to remember them, no one listen, okay? But I remembered them without saying them out loud, so I feel good. Right, okay. Now, I'm just doing a thing. And what I'm doing, Abigail, is booking some future tech support, basically. We have discussed this. And possibly these I'm possibly advanced buying some of these ear things because they sound good. Just doubly, triply checking I've put the right things in because I'm very bad at putting the wrong numbers in. Yes. Okay. I'm going to save that and add that. And doing that. Actually, I just fucking thought of something. Realizing, because it's tech support, I can actually claim it. Yes. Okay. Excellent. Ooh, I've got to do a netcode. Fun. Never tell anyone this code. I'm glad I have these multi-factor authentication things on, actually. Very hard for someone to rip me off. I have all these multi-factor authentications. No. Done. Done. Okay. I apologize for that slight diversion. I just remembered something I had to do, and it's done. Yes. Nobody, you might fade soon, but yeah, I agree with Abigail. Thanks for joining us while you did. Left Wing Dorksuck, you've got a nice split system, cover the unit whole winter being like summer at 30 degrees. Nice. Well, I was reveling in the fact this is how exciting my life is. I was excited. This weekend was the second weekend in a row I could actually hang my washing out on the line to dry rather than having to have it on racks inside for a couple of days. And that's a good sign. That is an excellent sign. Good night to you, my friend. Nobody. Take care, brother. Yeah, Abigail. I don't know if you're all in the mood, but like if I put the link in, like, can you come on and show us what these mask thingy things you have are? Rob and Greg, sulfates make you wheeze. Things like preservative 201. Yes, some of the preservatives, yes. And again, this is something I'm not surprised you're knowledgeable on, Greg. But yeah, some of those sulfates, preservatives, and whatnot, people can have either semi-allergic or full-on allergic reactions to it. Okay, so Abigail, you're up for it. Okay. Oh, something dinged. Why did my phone just ding? Oh, okay. Abigail sent me a photo, and I don't know how we're going to try this. So that's the Star Trek themed thing. Now I've got it. So, yes, I understand what these are now. Because, okay, the standard way to wear your mask is to put the loops behind your ears. But depending on the mask and the shape of your head and stuff, that can, and how long you have to wear it, that can end up hurting your ears. So you can get these plastic things you put around the back of your head and loop the mask onto them. And that's what Abigail's been 3D printing, things that save your ears. Very cool. Very cool. Annette, you have a PSA. Best mask N95. Okay. I'm going to say that with an asterisk because N95 masks are very good for filtering particulate matter out before you breathe it. In fact, like when we had the bad bushfires in Victoria and Australia generally 2 years ago, a lot of people were recommending N95 masks because huge amounts of Australia were affected. And in fact, Sydney and Canberra had it way fucking worse than Melbourne. But huge amounts of Australia were affected by fucking soot in the air from bushfires, and an N95 mask was very good at filtering out particulate matter so you didn't breathe it in. Now, and Mega Leech beat me to the punch, in fact. So I think we've read the same stuff. When you breathe out with an N95 mask, it does not filter what you breathe out as much as a surgical mask does. So the standard masks protect you less and other people more. But an N95 mask protects you more and other people less. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, and it's the valve. Abigail, thank you for clarifying. A lot of them have these little valves. They're unsuitable for medical use. But yes, they have different uses. I'll suffer by surgical masks. I just mean those disposable masks. Most of us wear. Basically, a cloth or one-use mask is what I'm talking about. N95 masks are very good for filtering out particulate matter before you breathe it in. But because of the valve on them, it doesn't filter what you breathe out. Now, you got your info from Dr. Osterholm from SIDRAP. He was an advisor to Biden administration re-COVID. Oh, God. What was my thoughts on the exit in Afghanistan? It was pretty surreal how nobody saw how quickly the Taliban would sweep in. I think it's an incredibly difficult situation because what are we meant to do? Have a forever war? As like it felt like the US wasn't achieving anything, but it's very complex, and anyone who thinks they can give a potted 5-second answer is probably wrong. Safa, yes, you should wash your cloth masks. You absolutely should. So if you saw it coming, should you work at national security? Yes, you should. April, I have heard that people they were asking to leave N95 masks for hospital staff unless you're high risk. But yes. And yeah, it's interesting, Tassie. You are right. It is absolutely hilarious that only a month before Biden did the formal withdrawal of US troops, Trump was saying at rallies, the withdrawal was my plan. Biden didn't want to do it, but I forced him to do it. And then Biden did the withdrawal, and the Taliban just fucking swept in way faster than anyone thought. And it looks very bad. And so now the right wingers are blaming Biden when only a month previously it was Trump saying this was all my idea, which is it's just surreal. And it's basically the whole thing is bullshit. Look, I'm going to hold off and see. Let's see what happens. I mean, any religious fundamentalist, I tend to think is a piece of shit, basically. So my default opinion on the Taliban is they're pieces of shit. But I'm willing to say let's see what happens, and because it's really weird. Afghanistan has a multi-century history of being a fucking quagmire. People trying to occupy it, colonize it, control it, and it just not working. It's weird. Adonix, you think pulling out in general positive, the method of pulling out didn't work? Yeah. Oh, Ian, by the way, hello. So, April, you reckon Afghanistan was for politicians to make money from contracts? Oh, shit. The 20-year Afghanistan thing just enriched the military-industrial complex. It was fucked. It was absolutely fucked. But I don't know. Yeah, and I have enormous empathy for the people of Afghanistan if they're going to be under the heel of a religious fundamentalist murderous bunch. But I don't know, at this point it's like, well, it fucking happened, let's see how it plays out, because the fucking US-led occupation was a fucking disaster. Black Metal Heart, religious fanatics foaming at the mouth versus villagers with basic training from an occupying force. Yeah. That's a good one as well. That Twin talks up. What do I think of the rise of China power? I think the world has been very lucky for the last 100 years that I'm speaking very roughly. It's not exactly 100 years, but the world has been very lucky that the Chinese Communist Party has been largely inwardly focused. If the Chinese Communist Party was even half as interested in external expansion and control as the US is, we'd be in a very fucking dangerous situation. Simple as that. Yes, I think we're all agreeing pulling out has its limitations in oh so many situations. Pulling out might work for you, might actually not work for you. Adonis, you're thinking of more anger. This is my chill chat sessions. Okay, it's very very early in COVID. I just felt like when I was doing I'd been doing the pre-recorded videos for like 15 years, which I enjoyed. The thing, but then it was just like, God, I've got into this rut where I feel all I'm ranting about is Trump and COVID, and it's just not doing it for me anymore. And I started doing these live streams, and then we've just found there was a collective group of people who found like, oof, yeah, it's actually making me feel better to just hang and chat. So broadly, I'm just chatting. Every now and then, a complete fuckwit will show up, and I will go right off my nana. And that's happened a couple times. But yeah, left-wing talks about India. They're a rising power. Well, the current ruling party in India are fascists. They were literally born out of a group that loved Adolf Hitler and was supporting and promoting Adolf Hitler in World War II. Ian, that's an excellent point. The idiots doing the COVID lockdown protests should do it as live streams. They should all just hang out with each other and vent their frustrations and not infect anyone else. But they are broadly pieces of shit. Adonis, you don't know why you're showing up as Adonis. Actual screen name is Angry Adonis. There you go. I don't know either. I don't know how YouTube works. I've only been on it for 15 years. Well, see, again, okay, Ian, surely there's a way you can do it online. There's the thing. These global protests have been coordinated by far right-wing groups. Like, again, Hitler-loving, pro-fascist, extreme right groups that are exploiting ignorant, vulnerable, and gullible people to go along with them. Like, just basically all those protests, fuck every single person who goes to them, because the best thing you can say about the people at them is they are stupid, self-absorbed, ignorant fuckwits who are being exploited by far-right fascists. And of course, the worst is they're far-right fascists. And the people who don't actively agree with far-right, pro-Nazi, pro-fascist, anti-Semitic, racist ideology need to understand they are being manipulated by Hitler-loving, far-right, extreme racist white supremacists. That's who is behind all of it. Left-wing talks. They reckon India will take over US economy by 2025. Oh, dude. Okay. First up, maybe. Second up, anyone who tries to predict the future in a world as volatile as ours is a bullshit artist. Speculating is fine. People who want to speculate and say, I see this trend, I see that trend, it could play out like that, it could play out like that. But anyone who says they know for sure what is going to happen in 15 years is full of shit. The system we are in at the moment is too volatile, is too chaotic to say with any confidence what's going to happen in 10, 15 years. Speculating is fine. Speculating, oh, this could happen, this could happen. But anyone who goes, this is absolutely what's going to happen, I'm a futurist and genius, that person is a bullshit artist and a scammer. April, you're saying people are saying cases are growing because vaccinations are... Oh, God, okay, you're talking about those idiots. Oh, they hurt my head. They hurt my head. Safi, you wish the thing about 5G chip with your Pfizer was true? Yeah, I wish that too. Oh, God, I was going to say something else. It's gone out of my head, which may be the fault of the freezer martini, quite honestly. Oh, last half hour, I might drink some water. Okay, so my freezer daiquiri is not... I might just leave this overnight. It's only a little bit of it has dripped through. Less than half of it, actually. I don't need it. I might just leave it overnight. I'm not going to drink anymore. I might let this drip through really slowly overnight. And in the morning, pour it back in. I'm hoping it's filtered out the weird cloudy shit that was in my drink. And then I'll just top it up with some more rum and some more lime juice and some more sugar syrup and some more water. Abigail, every time you complete a capture and says you are not a robot, you get a little sad. Yeah. Okay. You know those captures you get that's letters in all different fonts and sizes and squiggly bits that's meant to confuse AIs. So it's like, you are not a robot. One of my favorite jokes, and it was from a while ago, it might have been from 10 years ago, sometime in the last 10 years. And because the joke worked on multiple levels, like, you know, where you get people in, America, Australia, Europe, having tattoos of Asian characters that they say, this means strength. And it turns out it means sweet and sour chicken. And it was copied from a like Chinese restaurant menu or something. That type of thing, when you use the characters from another language, it's very easy for it to not be a thing. One of my favorite jokes I've seen online was a webcomic. It's an actual robot. It's like two robots talking to each other, and one robot has a tattoo on its arm that's a capture that's all squiggly and whatnot, but it clearly says wanker. And one robot's pointing at it and saying to the other robot and says, it means strength. And just the layers of joke in that, it's like just 3 or 4 layers of joke, and I fucking love it. April, you were isolating before it was necessary. Yes, introverts love lockdown. Adonis, you don't believe the pro-rights, pro-Nazi. Dems have a worse history regarding civil rights. Okay, history is not useful. The current day is what we need to look at. And when I talk about the far right being Hitler lovers, I'm talking about when you see these people at rallies, if you got them to take their shirts off, fully half of them would have Nazi sigils tattooed on their bodies. That's just the way it is. Again, not 50% of a Trump crowd. I mean 50% of the extremists. And they worship Hitler. They are actively promoting literal Nazi ideology. They are actively promoting literal fascist ideology. And no. Fuck off. Okay. Adonix, what I'm actually saying, okay, because what shit-eating fuckhead Republicans in the US like to say is the Ku Klux Klan was started by the Democrats and the slaves were freed by Lincoln, a Republican. Those things are factually true, and they are of no value whatsoever when looking at the makeup of the Klan, far-right, fascist, white supremacist groups in America today. There are definitely people who vote Democrat who are horrible, bigoted pieces of shit. There is no two ways about it. But the idea of pointing out historically the Klan was started by Democrats and Lincoln was a Republican is, in the modern world, is absolutely fucking meaningless. At that point in history, it was true, and that has no meaning whatsoever in the world today. The Klan today is 99% pro-Republican. That is a simple statement of fact. An actual real historical fact is the Klan was started by Democrats. Lincoln was a Republican. Those two facts have no meaning whatsoever in the world today, okay? All the far-right groups you see, particularly in the US, but across Europe and in Australia, they actively promote literal Nazi ideology. Adonix, you're a cunt, okay? You're a worthless, sniveling cunt, okay? I never said factual truth has no meaning. I said an historical fact may not have any meaning in the world today. Stating the historical fact that the Klan was started by Democrats and Lincoln was a Republican means absolutely nothing in the world today, okay? The Klan today is Republicans. That is 100% the truth. The fact that you say the opposite means one of two things. Either you are an absolute fucking moron, like stupid, shit-eating fuckwit, or a lying right-wing Nazi shit cunt, okay? So what is it? What is it? Are you a lying Nazi shit cunt, or are you stupid as fuck, okay? Because those are literally the only two possibilities of what is happening now, okay? You are either a liar or an absolute fucking moron, okay? You're a liar, you're a coward, you're a piece of shit, you are absolute fucking vermin, you are worthless, you are stupid, you are pathetic, you are a liar, you are a coward, you are worthless, okay? You are the scum of the fucking earth. You are lying, you are a coward, you are a piece of shit, okay? Left-wing dorks suck. I am just having it. No, you are lying. Those are not words I said. What I said is those historical facts have no meaning today, okay? They mean nothing. You're a liar, you're a coward, you're a worthless, racist piece of shit. I can see you for what you are. You're a worthless, sniveling, pathetic, weak loser. You are just filth, okay? You are a weak, whiny, pathetic, shit-eating cunt. And I only said that, and I thank you all for saying ignore him, because he is a loser. And that was just fun, okay? Very occasionally, I like to do that and have some fun, okay? But yes, that was, I literally just did that because it was fun. I like to have fun occasionally. Hey, Micro USB, how you doing? You just missed me going off at someone. It was a bit of fun. I'm drinking a bit of water before I go to bed. No, Safa. Abigail would only ban people I asked to. I would get extremely upset if Abigail banned someone that I didn't ask her to. Abigail, sometimes you've got to let Thanos beat up the Hulk and have some fun. Oh, yeah, Safa, the border town is on the border of South Australia and Victoria. Apparently, it was where Bob Hawke was born. I know that because I did a road trip with some people a while ago. But, yeah. Yeah, so, again, please, I'm completely on board with anyone saying... Tassie's calling me up there. I'll forget a username and ban them by accident. And that's where Abigail helps me by getting them back. Yeah. Micro, there's people that believe footage from Afghanistan, plane leaving, people trying to help them. Of course, there's always someone who thinks that's faked. Yeah. Oh, Left-wing Dorksuck, that's just a reference to a real sad dude who's super fucking obsessed with me. I don't think that's who that was, because it was a very different style of talking shit. It's just typical. To me, that was a typical right-wing debate pro who just says shit in bad faith. Yeah, no, Marco Spear, there's always someone who says dumb shit about stuff being faked. Abigail, you were today years old when you found out there's an Elric Saga TV show in the works. Ooh, wow. And you want it to be R-rated, yeah, with all the sex and violence of the Elric world. That does sound pretty good. I mean, I just found, I think it was today that I found out that there's an animated series that's going to be like Star Wars Expanded Universe stuff, but made by various Japanese animation houses. Black Metal Heart, a meme t-shirt being made about Kabul skydiving club. Oh, Jesus. Oh, no, those people are fucking evil. Yeah. Oh, okay, Left-wing Dorksucker. There's a guy who had the username Locust Trooper, and I was humoring him for a long time, but then someone found out what his actual agenda was. He was just a pathetic fucking lying troll who argued in bad faith. And I always knew something was wrong with him, but when someone else found out actually exactly what the guy was doing, I was like, oh, okay, he's a fuckhead. And so I blocked him, and he's made up, like literally without exaggeration, a dozen or 2 dozen accounts to keep coming back into the stream because he's just a fucking sad fucker. So if you've heard Disney's making an Heir to the Empire series with Thrawn. Well, that sounds interesting. Oh, Micro, you thought Sunday's date night, Sunday morning. No. It's Saturday is my date night. It's normally every second week because of a weird series of events. I'll probably have 3 Saturday date nights in a row. So last night was my regular date night. Next Saturday night would usually be not, but it probably actually there's a whole bunch of moving pieces happening. But next Saturday night will probably also be a date night, so I probably went to a stream. And then the one after that would be a regular date night, so I went to a stream. So it's probably I won't be on a Saturday night for 3 weeks. Micro, tell USB thing amenities, Beatrice. YouTube are very bad at responding to people who are fucking idiots. But anyway. Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay. Tassie, and here's the thing. I know some people find it a bit daggy, but Tassie, we do literally schedule, Tassie, Mrs. Angry and I schedule every second Saturday night because that's where her offspring is with his dad every second Saturday night. And we've done this for years. We've done this for ages. Every second Saturday night, we schedule as a date night. When COVID lockdowns aren't happening, we go out. We go out to have dinner and drinks or whatnot. When COVID lockdowns are happening, we still make an event of it. We set up a table. We get a takeaway from somewhere we like. We set it up. I make some drinks, and then we sit on the lounge and watch a movie. What we used to do when COVID wasn't a thing was go out, dinner, drinks, movie, or movie, then dinner and drinks, whichever way it worked. But now with COVID, a lot of them is we do it at home. And I know a lot of people find that daggy. Oh, Tassie, you want me to teach Mega Leech? I can. But we would set it. We would just say every second Saturday is date night. But also, as you all know, more recently, I made a point when Monday and Wednesday nights, I'm not doing streams. They're not date nights, but it's like when Mrs. Angry and I just sit on the lounge and watch TV together. And again, some people find it daggy, but we've actually found it works that scheduling in time and saying, this is going to be us time, this is going to be together time. We find it actually works. I know a lot of people find it super fucking daggy, particularly younger people find it daggy. But it is what it is. And Abigail, you think he might have moved on? I hope he did. I always just wanted him to move on. I just wanted him to move on. And seriously, blocking him was not, and I said it to him because he was on the stream, and I said, now I know what your agenda is, you can fuck off. I just hope you just fuck off and get a life, okay? And he didn't for a while, but I'm hoping he did now. Yes, literally, Abigail, it's scheduled fun. It's scheduled fun. We found it works for us. I can understand if it doesn't work for everyone, and I have particularly been told by younger people it's a bit daggy, but I'm daggy. What can I say? Safa, dude, I'll wingman you. If in some bright and shining future when we aren't locked down and you're able to visit Melbourne again, I'll fucking wingman you. Yeah, anyway. Micro, when's our date night? You'll treat me like a pretty Southern belle. Friday night is usually angry bunch night. Friday night is when it's just like this. Like I said, the normal streams go for 2 hours. Friday night tends to go for like 6 hours and involve drinkies in a very serious way. And like I had a couple of drinks tonight. Now I'm drinking water. But I'm still drinking it in my cocktail glass because I feel classy. But yes. Living Dork's like, what happened with this guy? I blocked him and he made like a dozen or 2 dozen accounts to keep coming back. And he had another YouTube channel where he obsessed about me. And I just kept saying, dude, just fucking move on. Just fucking move on, okay? Just like, I treated you decently. And even though you were obviously talking shit about a bunch of stuff, I never called you out and said, you're like, but then I found out it was all just malice at work. So I was like, okay, fuck off, get a life. I just want him to get a fucking life. So, Ian, you've had people obsess about it. Yeah, look, you might not be surprised to learn over the years, I've had a few people obsessed. Oh, no, see, stuff up, Left Wing Dork Suck, which is a super fun username. Was on the streams a while back, actually, but yeah, tonight back is the first time back in a while, so it's actually nice to see him back. It's just like, again, see, this is the thing. If somebody disagrees with me and is from a different political view, that's actually fine. I'm fine. I don't care if people disagree with me. But when someone argues in bad faith and is a dickhead about it, like the fuckhead that I had a bit of a rant at earlier and then blocked, and the rant was just for my personal enjoyment. It's just like, no, if someone's going to act and behave in bad faith, I'm not going to indulge them. It's just like, no. And I've had people who consider themselves left or progressive who wanted to disagree with me on something, and then, or maybe not left, but sort of in Australian terms, pro-Labor Party. But then they wanted to argue in bad faith. And as soon as someone betrays themselves for being someone who argues in bad faith, I'm just like, nah. If you won't discuss or argue honestly, fuck off. If you're going to argue in bad faith and not stick to anything and not basically have an honest discourse, just fuck off. Just fuck off. Ian, I'm glad you enjoyed it as well. Micro, you don't like when people argue against facts, set us back a few generations. Oh, anti-vaxxers, yeah. Oh, and I was having I had a brief discussion with a friend on Facebook earlier. They posted a very old Peanuts panel. I remember good old Charlie Brown. It was the character Linus saying something along the lines of, if it can't stand up to the truth, it doesn't deserve to stand up. And I said, look, I get what you're coming from, but that's what these lunatics who spout absolute shit say. They say stuff that is just very demonstrably untrue, but argue that it's the truth. Oh my God. Oh, Greg, you missed the rant. Yeah, it's about 10 or 20 minutes ago. I just went off at this guy. Oh, Abigail, not only was the guy... Oh, you're giving him credit saying he didn't understand nuance, but he was definitely taking my words out of context, and he was doing it on purpose. Maybe he doesn't understand nuance. My personal feeling about that guy is he was deliberately misrepresenting what I was saying. And it's like, at that point, it's like, okay, there are literally only two possibilities. When you are absolutely misrepresenting what I said, you're either doing it because you're a fucking moron and you just lack comprehension skills, or you're a bad faith arguing right-wing fuckhead, And either way, fuck off. You're either deliberately arguing in bad faith because you're a lying Nazi apologist piece of shit, which I am actually 100% convinced that was this fucking prick's motivation. He's a Nazi apologist prick who is deliberately arguing in bad faith. But there's a slight possibility that they're also just very, very, very stupid. So yeah. Oh, Jesus. That is bad, Mega Leech. There was a video the dude made that mentioned me, but was trolling someone in a mental hospital. Okay, that's not good. Micro USB. There was an article talking about how reptile zoo in Florida, a kid was having a party. The gator bit the handler. Oh, Florida stories. The headline for the story was "Handler bitten by gator at birthday party." So someone assumed people brought gators to a birthday party. There was a thing I shared on social media because someone shared it and I saw it and I loved it. It was like Alabama man taking over Florida man. And this story, and I'm sure some more stuff will come out, but a guy in Alabama shot dead a dude in his house that his wife said was an intruder. And apparently they were both armed. Both men were armed and there was a shootout. And the guy who lived in the house shot dead this other guy that his wife had said was an intruder. But apparently the guy was someone the wife was having an affair with. And the guy was secretly living in their house. And I don't know, the wife and this guy must have had some sort of falling out. So she said to the husband, there's an intruder. And this being Alabama, they had a gun and there was a shootout and he killed the guy. So I was like, yes, the torch is passed from Florida man to Alabama man. Because again, just the context of shooting the guy his wife said was an intruder was actually his wife's secret lover who was actually secretly living in the house. It was like, what? I feel there's more to be learned from that story, honestly. And Micro USB, I agree, the wife probably needs to be charged with something. Oof. Micro, sorry, who's this about the COVID situation? Black Metal Heart, the COVID situation in Florida is fucking frightening. Ian, your partner has a shotgun. Should you be worried? No, you should just be very nice to your partner. That's all I'm saying. See, Safra, it must have been a big house. I was thinking, was this a Parasite situation? I don't know who seen that movie, the Korean movie that actually won an Academy Award for Best Film, Parasite, which I enjoy, but I thought it had probably been overhyped by the time I saw it, so I was kind of mildly disappointed. I think I need to re-watch Parasite because I think it was actually a very good film, but it had maybe been overhyped before I saw it. So when I saw it, I was thinking, oh, this is good, but I'm not carried away. I bet if I re-watch it, I'll probably appreciate it more. But yes. Micro, I like that. Southerners have guns and they're just waiting for you to break in so they can get out their AR-15 with a 30-round drum. Yeah. Oh, guns in America. So disturbing. It is actually at least slightly more complex than a lot of left-wing people say. I am very anti-gun. And I look at the US and I am mortified and I think, what the fuck is happening there? And I absolutely do not want guns to be more available in Australia. I'm in favor of our gun laws. I think our gun laws should be more strict than they are. You love guns, Micro USB. I like shooting. I like target shooting. Because I grew up in the country, I did quite a bit of target shooting growing up. Guns are cool. I am not going to mess about and lie and double speak. Guns are fucking cool. They are. They just are. But there are some fucking issues going on in the US, and I don't know what the answer is. And yeah, I think, again, left-wing people are a little bit prone to oversimplify the situation, but Jesus Christ, something's fucking wrong in the US. Was that Micro USB? You own a Russian SKS semi-auto. Still had the bayonet on it. Good Lord. Good Lord. Yeah, I really enjoy target shooting. I just think it's cool. Yeah, Black Metal Heart, you like shooting at a range and go to. I have actually considered joining. There are rifle clubs in Melbourne, and it's very strict. Like you go there and you get a thing and you do. I've considered joining a rifle club in Melbourne because I used to do target shooting growing up in the country, but I just think it'll be full of fuckwits. Ugh. Ooh, that's a scary one, April. You think returned vets taking Afghanistan hard, talking up weapons? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I'm regularly talking about this guy who makes various claims. He tends to make very stupid claims that are simply not bounded in realities. Like he posted this dumb video because I've often talked about I live in the Caulfield area. And I'm never precise about where I am. So he's going, I'm going to find out where you live. He's go, well, good luck. When I say Caulfield area, that involves 100,000 residences. So, you know, but like he posted some dumb as shit video saying he saw me at Caulfield Station. And it's like, I've been working from home for 80, and I've also made it really clear and that I've been working from home for 18 months. Like, no, he hasn't seen me at Caulfield Station because I've never caught the train from Caulfield Station. And, but I haven't caught trains at all. It's just, you know, he's just a weird fantasist. He's just a fucking sad fuck. Oh god, Margaret's B, you buy a bunch of surplus AK rounds for your gun. That would honestly, in cheap rounds at a semi-auto on a shooting range, that'd be fucking fun. Just going woo, bang, 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 bang. That would just be fucking fun. Sorry, Marco, you've seen vets feeling like went over there. Oh my god, I absolutely understand veterans feeling betrayed by governments and the military-industrial complex because, spoiler alert, service people are on the regular betrayed by politicians and the military-industrial complex. That's just a thing. Oh, shit. See, that sounds scary, Micro. You say your SKS, you can mod it to be full auto with a 30-round mag. Left-wing dogs, he's a nut. He's a fantasist. I think the polite way to say is this guy is a fantasist. And it's just like, okay, lad, sonny, kid, could you go off and get a fucking life? Oh god, Micro, don't even get me started on homeless veterans. The idea that these shit cunt politicians talk about, oh, thank you for your service. Respect, don't take a knee, respect the flag. Our veterans fought for that. And they absolutely ass fuck veterans. It's just like, no. I'd have a little bit more respect for right wingers if they actively looked after veterans, but they fucking don't. It's just bullshit. It's just bullshit. And again, hypocrisy is one thing I can't stand. Like I said, I'm reasonably fine with people disagreeing with me politically because people are different and people want different things. And that's okay. Not understanding that people want different things is a mistake. And that is a mistake that a lot of left-wing people make. Willful lack of understanding that people want different things, and the inability to understand that people
Hey, what's up, guys?
Want different things is a bad thing. Limits your view on the world. And yeah, Black Metal Heart, that's a big thing with right wingers, saying they're pro-life when someone's in the womb. Once you're born, fuck you. Yes. Fuck yes. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I think, all right, I'm going to leave my freezer daiquiri, which is now it's still cold. I'm going to leave my freezer daiquiri to filter C. No weird floaty thing, isn't it? It's going to take all night to filter through the coffee filter. And so I'll just leave that and go to bed. Then I'll top it up and put it back in the freezer. And I'll be ready for Tuesday night's stream. I'll have a nice freezer daiquiri for Tuesday night stream. Yes. Sorry, Abigail. I just did actually want to quickly check. I didn't know the sound would come out that loud. I'm off to bed. So good night, everyone. So I won't be on tomorrow night. We'll be on Tuesday night, unless something changes, but that's the likely thing. So you all take care of yourselves. I hope things go well, and hope to see you again soon. But bye for now.